Hello, good morning. So this is going to be our last topic of this particular chapter on plastering, pointing, and painting. That is your surface finishing from Unit 4. So I believe we have finished with almost everything. Today we are going to discuss the last type of surface finish, which is primarily applied on wood. Okay, so we are going to discuss varnishes. Okay, people have seen this kind of surfaces, right? This you all must have seen in your furniture. You know, some of the musical instruments also have varnishing, which are the ones like violins, anything that is made out of wood. Okay, you will see this shine and glossy finish. That's because of this material called varnishes. Okay, now, the term varnish is used to actually speak about a solution of resins prepared in different type of solvent materials, mostly resins in alcohol or resins in oil or resins in turpentine. Right? Based on that, you have the type of varnishes also. We'll come to that eventually. So why do we need varnishes? If you look at this surface, why do we need varnishes? First and foremost, it's looking good, right? Second, it's giving a kind of durability aspect also. It prevents it from a lot of atmospheric agencies. Now, if you have a door painted or unpainted, okay, directly if you apply the varnish also, the durability, the life of that door is expected to increase. This is what we have seen in the past. Okay. Now, what are the ingredients which are used in these varnishes? First, we have a resin. Now, what is a resin? A resin is primarily the material which comprises, it can be amber, copal. These are the materials which are used as resins, lac, shellac, and rosin. So, I've just shown you all the pictures. This image you all have seen before. What is this? This is a shellac. Okay. Now, shellac and lac are obtained from insects. Okay, these are the secretions of insects. Okay, I don't know specifically the names of the bugs, but those bugs are giving these kind of secretions. Very bright colors, and these are used in solvents. Okay, once you use it in solvent, based on the type of secretion, you will get a color for the solution. Okay, shellac and lac. Okay, and now amber is, if I'm not mistaken, it's processed copal. Okay, you can see here in the jewelry piece, this in between thing, this is amber. Okay, these are obtained from tree. These three are obtained from tree. These are tree products. Sap of the tree is hardened. Can you just see the sap of the tree being hardened here? Okay, and then once a little bit of processing, it gives you this type of color. You can see this entire, this is a very old, if I'm not mistaken, church somewhere, not in India, but that varnish is comprising of amber. It's giving you that orange, golden orange kind of shine. Such a beautiful thing. And that amber itself can be used in ornament. It's such a beautiful substance. Okay. So resins are what? Resins are primarily hard substances. Okay. They are obtained from either tree or they are obtained from some insects. Okay. Rosin specifically is obtained from pine trees. Okay, whereas amber is a processed copal, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Now these things are used in dryers. So what do you do, depending on the type of the resin that you are going to use? First you select a solvent. Okay, different resins will be able to dissolve different solvents. So let's say you are using amber and copal. Please write this down. Okay, if you are using amber and copal, then you are going to use linseed oil. If you are using lac and shellac, you are going to use methylated spirits. Okay. Then if you are going to use rosin, you are going to use turpentine as a solvent. Okay. So based on the different type of resins used, solvents changed. And then you have a dryer. Now what is the function of dryer? As the name suggests, once you have this solvent and resin mix, okay, the job of dryer is to accelerate the process of drying. Okay. The commonly used ones are litharge, white copper, and lead acetate. Okay. So what I have tried to do is I have just given the same color. So amber and copal is used in linseed oil as solvent. Like shellac is used whatever is in green is green type of solvent is mentioned here. Rosin, which is indicated in blue, is used in turpentine also, which is indicated. So go for the color coding and you will understand which type of solvent is used for which type of resin. Okay, fine. Now, what are the ideal characteristics for the varnish? So first and foremost, why do we apply varnish? To look good. So it should render a very nice and glossy surface. Second is it should not take time in drying. Okay, the surface should be quickly finished, quickly dried, so that you can use it properly, right? And secondly, apart from drying, it should be uniform drying. Okay, it should spread uniformly onto the surface. Now, sometimes what happens, we add pigments in the color varnish, okay, or the resin itself imparts the nice color. So, primarily the varnish, if it is colored varnish, then it should be even on all the surface. The shade should not change, and eventually it should not fade away. Okay, and then it should form a protective and durable film. So it should be strong enough, it should be tough enough, hard enough for use. It should not get easily scratched. Okay, and second, last is it should not shrink. If it shrinks, what happens? You will see cracks onto the surface. So first, these are the primary characteristics of ideal varnishes. Then we have types of varnishes. Now, if you look at these names, oil varnishes, spirit varnishes, turpentine varnishes, water varnishes. What do you mean by this? So, what are these terms? These are basically the solvents which are used in the varnishes. So, varnishes are named based on the solvents which is used in the varnish. Oil varnishes, the type of solvent used is linseed oil. Okay, hard resins like amber and copal will be dissolved, and if the varnish is not workable, then you are also allowed to add a little quantity of turpentine. Okay, these dry very slowly, but they form a very hard and durable surface as compared to the other types of varnishes. Okay, these are the hardest and most suitable. Only the issue is they dry a little slow. Okay, they are adopted for exposed work which require frequent cleaning. Okay, if you otherwise continuously keep on cleaning the surface made in other varnishes, what will happen? Eventually, it will fade off. Okay, they are used on coaches or fittings in the houses. Spirit varnishes are methylated spirits of wine which are used as solvent, and the resins which dissolve in this are usually lac and shellac. Okay, these are quick drying varnishes. Spirit itself is a very volatile material, so obviously it's going to dry very quickly, but they are not durable. Okay, they get easily affected by weathering agencies. They're generally used for furniture. Okay, French polish is a variety of this type of varnish. Desirable tinge can be obtained by using any suitable coloring pigment. Okay, then the next is turpentine varnishes. This is used as a this is basically turpentine varnishes, as the name suggests. Turpentine will be the solvent, and the type of resin that will be used is rosin. There's also something called gum dammer, and there's something called mastic. Anyway, these again dry very fast, and they possess very nice colors. Okay, only issue is they are not as durable and tough as oil varnishes. Okay, now next is water varnish. Shellac also dissolves in hot water. Okay, so apart from that, what does shellac dissolve in? Methylated spirits. Okay, so now instead of spirit, you can also use hot water and good enough quantity of ammonia or potash or soda. Okay, so if you add all this in water, shellac can get dissolved. Now these kind of varnishes will be used on maps or pictures. Okay, when you want to preserve them for a longer time. They are also used on very delicate internal works. Okay, or this can also be used as a covering for a wallpaper, because eventually wallpaper will get damaged, right? So such cases you can use water varnishes. Okay, with the resin obviously. Okay, now what is the process of varnishing? Now there are 4 stages in the process of varnishes. First is preparation of the surface. Now any type of rendering when you do, what do you first do? You brush it, you rub it down very well, you clean it very well using sandstone. Okay, any type of surface finishing, we do that as the first thing. Okay, even when you are did your Tulsi Puja, recently you all must have done, first thing what we do is you clean the surface, you use the sandpaper, you clean it, right? That is what you do everywhere when you do surface finishing. Once that is done, you clean it, you make it smooth. Once you use the sandpaper, what will happen? There will be dust which will be coming on the surface. So then you have to clean it, you have to remove that dust. And next is knotting. Now, what is knotting? Now you can see this. Can you see this round thing in the wooden surface? That's called a knot. Now this is, when you see this on any wooden furniture or a wooden table and all which is kept in a living room or a restaurant, it looks good. This is kind of a signature of being a wooden material. Yes, but in structural members, if you are making let's say a beam or column out of knots, these are not desirable. Okay, why these are not desirable? Because these are dead cells which are formed during the tree growth. Okay, and these dead cells eventually dry up. They leave gaps around and they can come out. They can form voids. Okay, but that is at the later stage. Initial stage, if you make a plank out of the log of wood where there is a knot, slowly it keeps on leaving a what is it called? Sap type of thing, a liquid material. Understood? And these liquid materials, they continuously move out. Once it's completely out, once that sap is totally out, this knot can even fall off. Okay, so there is something called killing of knot. Okay, now what is killing of knot? You apply some material over the knot. Okay, let's say your knot is being used in the surface of like flooring or maybe in the furniture. You apply some glue type of thing over this knot. You paint it. That is called further on no sap can move out. Further on the shrinkage of knot will stop. Now, how do you carry out this killing of knot? Killing of knot or knotting, it can be used as a synonym, okay? It means the same. Now, how do you carry out? You can apply 2 coats of the varnish. You can apply any type of solvent, okay? You can use turpentine, you can use your methylated spirits, okay? Not water, okay? Not water. Only methylated spirit, turpentine, oils, okay? 2 coats can be applied. There is another thing called lime knotting also. Okay, I don't want to go into depth, but you all should understand what is this. There is something called lime knotting. You apply a coat of lime and you leave it for 24 hours. Okay, and then eventually you scrub it out. So there are various ways, but what is primarily knotting? You try to seal all the gaps of knot. You do not allow the sap to move out. Okay, and you make it more durable. Okay, then there is something called stopping. Stopping is it means gluing basically. You can apply boiled linseed oil in 2 coats, and when the surface dries up, again you rub down with a sandpaper. And the last is then the coats of varnish. Okay, varnish is applied on surface in very thin coats. Okay, the next coat is applied after the previous one has completely dried up, and it should be done with ordinary paint brushes. But fine haired varnishing brush, the brushes used should be very fine haired. Okay. Now last what I want you all to do is complete this task. Now we have learned all these 4 different types of surface finishes. No, you all make a chart so that you don't have to memorize everything. You don't have to go through all the notes. Okay. What will be this chart made up of? First thing, suitability. So on which surface you are going to apply this. Then brief application procedure. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. What are the stages in application? What are the ingredients used in these materials? Varnishes, what is used, distemper, what is used, water based or oil based, or what is turpentine based, all that. And then what are the characteristics of an ideal whitewash, characteristics of ideal paint, characteristic of ideal distemper and varnishes. Make this thing, work in groups, give one person one group, make a group of 4, let one person only complete whitewash, the other person complete paint, and keep this with you before exams. This will come very handy. Okay, that's all, and we are finishing with surface finishes with this presentation, but complete this task.